dad is your hero? Is it his strength, his kindness, or his bad dad jokes? Post a 1-minute video sharing what makes your dad unforgettable, and you could win a one-night staycation at one of these hotels: the Fairview Hotel Nairobi, the Best Western Hotel Upper Hill, or the Holiday Inn Nairobi. Simply tag your 1-minute clip at Y254 on X, Facebook, and Instagram for your chance to win. Choose one of these hotels to also tag in your post, and you could spoil your dad for a night at Holiday Inn Nairobi, at Fairview Hotel Nairobi, and at Best Western Upper Hill. Don't forget to use the hashtag MyKBCDad. Let's celebrate our heroes in style.
Y254. Imagine.
And thank you so much for staying tuned to Y254. This is the Power Talk Show, and I am your host, Cheryl Blessing. I am live on set with Fabio and Jesus, and we're having a conversation on open relationships versus exclusive relationships. Which one do you think work? Which one do you think are more sustainable? If someone asked you to be in an open relationship with them, would you be open to the idea? Would you want to do that? Or do you just want to be in an exclusive relationship? And which one do you think is sustainable? That's what I want to hear from you. So go to our platforms at Y254 as we continue with the conversation, because I think we've established a few facts. Fabio thinks men can be selectively polygamous, but it depends on the individual, and then monogamy is also a choice. Jesus thinks men are polygamous, period.
Yes, I could analyze.
Si mimi nimesema, mimi niko hapa na report. Mimi na report. Mimi na kubali tu information na compare and contrast. Sindio? Tuko hapa kuchambua. And we've established that there was a generation that was okay with open relationships. We had our grandparents who lived, they thrived sometimes in relationships where mko kwa boma bibi watatu, wanne, watano. There are cultures that allow that and encourage that. But there's something very important that you were talking about, and I really want us to highlight that. Because Squeezy, we have so many options. Saizi nikiingia tu hivi Instagram, choices ni nyingi. And you know, it's both ways for the men and the women. We have so many options. We have so much access to everyone around us. Saingine, you can even meet your crush. I can literally DM a celebrity I'm crushing on and maybe even have a chat with him. Yeah. You know, whereas in the past, tulikuwa namwona kwa TV na ni hivyo, you have no access. But these days we have a lot of access. We have so much information. We have so many people. Unajua, choices ni mingi. And that's why I feel like in this generation, people are moving away from relationships. People will rather be in situationships, which basically are open relationships, if we are being realistic. Hey, sis, why do you think we've gotten to this era? Because I know, I don't know if this is common for all women, but personally, I feel like I'm still that lover girl who's thinking about her wedding day. I'm romanticizing just having this one man who comes home every day, you know? But then sangine naona ni kama, kwani niko delulu? Kwa sababu it's not looking like it's something that can be done. There are a few people who are like that, but the reality is, kwa ground ni tofauti. Hey sis, what do you think? Tusemeta wewe, jongele personally, instead of even talking to the guys, let's say you're dating a man, a very good man, but kuna wengine wenye bado ni wazuri, wako nje wanakupasiu, wanakukatia, wanakutaka. Do you feel like you should be able to explore other people and see exactly what you want, especially before marriage? Unajua kuna isegenyo nasemanga ati don't let your girlfriend stop you from finding your wife. You know, so what wanasema hivyo? What do you think? Should you be able to sample and try out different guys?
Okay, for me personally, if we are dating, it has to be exclusive. But then again, nikifika hapo, lazima umesample huku. Like, you have gone on a date with this person and the other, ndio sasa, like, you finalize the one that you'll have an exclusive, like dating exclusively.
Yeah.
Because I would say, like, for most women, like, that is what we want. We want to be that baby girl, the one and the only. But then again, kwa ground, mambo ni different. Like, like men would opt to have like multiple people. But for women, like, it's very hard because we are emotional. Kama niko kwako full. Lakini for men are not emotional, they are logic. So anaweza penda huyu, apende Mary, apende all many
Susan,
ladies.
Joy,
juu kuna huyu amependa specific something, like kuna trophy girlfriend ama wife mwenye sasa unatokelezea naye kwa watu. Kuna mwingine sasa mwenye kwa boma, kuna mwingine like different
anakupikianga
ni papa senye una nini kwake. That's made for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I think more and more women in this generation are accepting that. And even the men, when it comes to dating, kuna hii concept yenye na go around, kugongewa ni constant. Nairobi. Hiyo ni kitu wanasemanga, demi yako ni wako akiwa kwako, akitoka jipange tu, like usiulize maswali. What do you think about that? Do you think it's a healthy practice? Do you think it's a healthy notion for us to have? And is it something that maybe we should explore? Maybe si kitu mbaya sana, ama what's going on with that?
I think also the kind of person you're associated with. I feel like, okay, from what she said, like getting your options, random sample, but you don't have to go to that extent of engaging in sexual activities for you to understand this person, right? You can just get to know this person character-wise, you know, yeah. And I feel like, okay, society we've normalized, for lack of a better term, immorality, and which is, let's call a spade and not a big spoon. That it's if something is bad, it's bad. Like why would I come like in a relationship and then you find me with someone else, you know, engaging in sexual activities? Like that beats the essence, because like if I've devoted my time and my resources or my head to this one lady, I feel like that's the motion. Like, I mean, that's between me and that lady. I shouldn't go ahead and cut corners, look for another one, you know, see what this one doesn't have, this one. Like, try to, it's called discipline yourself, discipline the inner man. Like, sometimes we're blinded by things like lust, like these things, like this small things that we see. Oh, this guy looks like this, he looks like that. Oh, this guy has this and this and this. You see, we are bound by these things, and these things help us, like generally help. They may store, they like store away from the main goal of you getting into a relationship with someone who's serious. Also, if you see someone is not serious with you, it's okay. You can leave and like move to the next available candidate. Or
I like that.
Like
Move as
in hujafungiliwa nyororo.
Basically, oga tu urudi kwa soko. Basically tu, cause hakuna ku waste time.
Bebe mimi wacha nikwambia, why waste your time in sadness? Well, you can already derive happiness.
Find happiness in the next period. I love that. That is a saying from today. Why waste your time in sadness when you can find happiness? On to the next, very swiftly. But now let's be realistic, because I think kenye tunaongelea unajua sisi, these are things that ideally that's what we want. Realistically, it may be different. Because let's say, let me toss it to her actually. Let's say your man, you've been dating for a while and you know he's a good man, he's a provider, he's masculine, he cares, he's compassionate. But then siku moja kuja kwambia, by the way babe, kuna msichana nimeona na amenibamba. What do you think? Because I feel like women, because you know that's the thing, because women always say, ati unajua ungekuja tu niambie ingekuwa sawa. Ungekuja tu niambie ingekuwa sawa.
Haikuangi sawa.
Exactly. So what if your man tells you, I think I want to be in a relationship with someone else. It's not like I don't love you. I love you very much. I still want to be with you. But I also want to be with someone else. What would you say?
Unaona venye kwanza nimeshtuka hii. Hey, that would be very hard to accept it. Hata heri wewe ujipange kwenye unajipanga na huko, but it's hard kwanza kujua like there is someone else. Ni heri tu kae tu ukijua like you are the only one. Being the Lulu. Yes.
So you'd rather not know the truth?
Competitor.
Yeah. I'd rather not know the truth, but then again, anyway, it's very tricky.
Yeah.
When you get to know the truth, things are not going to be the same again.
Yeah.
Tusidanganyane, things are not going to be the same again. Venye ulikuwa unamchukulia ama the respect, kuna venye kama kuna venye you are investing together, utaanza kujiwekea hatua yako kwa like huyu mtu siwezi mtrust anytime. They can go and flee na niache peke. So unaanza like yes, you're in a relationship, but then again you start becoming independent slowly by slowly. Juu umeona like hapa like it's not giving. Naweza toroka anytime. So
unajua napenda hiyo reality because unajua madem tunakwanga kusema tu kweli, we always lying. Every time I see someone comment something like that, I'm like, girl, you know that's a lie. Because hata ungekuja kuambiwa ungejam. Hata ungepack uende hiyo siku. Because the reality is sometimes we want to say it's better for me to be in the know than not to know. But we're not ready for those conversations.
We cannot handle we as women, it's very hard. We cannot handle the truth. We can't. So
it's
men
difficult.
Wafiche utakuja kujua like wakateta watoto wamekuwa wakubwa ama something like that.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for men. Akuja kuambia like najua reaction. Your reaction is going to be wild. Na hataki hiyo.
And sasa venye umesema, you know, I think that pushes men to doing this extreme situations. Sasa senye yako na bibi watoto wamekuwa pamoja 10 years ndio sana kuja kuambia by the way kuna kwanga na mama nani. Ama kwa funeral, that's when you find out. We've had so many cases of so many cases of people coming up at here we were together. You wonder where was this man finding the time? We were home all the time.
Yeah.
But then tuseme ukweli Fabio. Saizi unasema saizi. We are talking about you today. You're dating, uko sawa, unapenda mtu wako. 20 years from now, you've been together with the same person. Warembo wametengenezwa, warembo wameumbwa, mababy girl wameumbwa, wako sasa kwa soko. Because I think that's how we have wababas these days. Because unajua wababas ni wanaona tu msichana mrembo.
Akona pesa.
Na akona do. Alafu tuseme ukweli. Unaona venye watu walikuwa 90s, si venye wamekuwa hivi. Alafu unaona bado warembo wanaendelea kukua warembo. Standards zinaendelea kupanda. Tuseme ukweli, wewe sasa ni mbabas. Fabio as a mbabas. Would you reject klande? Unaweza kuwa na klande ama unaweza sema hapana, mimi naenda tukua bibi yangu mama nani?
I feel like nimesha kwa
sana.
Susikie, nisha kwa mbaba, si ndio? Nisha na mtu, si ndio? That's a fact. Tuanze hapo, si ndio? Nisha na mtu. So mbona niende kutafuta kitu yenye niko nayo ready na kwa mtu mwingine na niko nayo ready kwa nyumba?
See the same. Sema ukweli. Huyu ni mama tuseme mama Tom. Mama Tom ako 20 years into marriage. Sai ako midlife.
Ni sawa.
Mama Tom maybe apakangi makeup anymore. Aliacha hata maneno ya kuweka makucha.
Tutampenda hivyo vile yako.
Hii tutaongelea nyuma ya
Wallahi wacha nikwambie.
Miss Fitchy White. Do you think Fabio anasema ukweli?
Mimi nasema ukweli.
Sasa uko na pesa ziko sana.
Uko na do when ule mtu wa range.
Ni sawa.
Na umeland hivi unapata painting.
Cheki. Before sikuwa na urine, ndio? Nilikuwa nimeanza na Mama Tom, ndio? Mama Tom alikuwa showries, ndio? Mama Tom akiwa showries ndio alikuwa amenibamba. Na huyo ndio msanii niliamua kusettle naye. Huyo ndio naenda naye. Kaende.
Side eye.
Wallahi, aki, wallahi.
Mimi wacha nikupatie side eye kwanza nisome comments.
Sasa,
guys, hebu tuambie, Fabia anatuambia ukweli.
Unajua mimi ni mimi, alafu sasa kuna
sisi ni sisi tunakugaslight.
Like as in mimi ni mimi. Like mimi kisha like as in
wende unatushow sasa.
Si ni mimi na washow.
Sasa hiyo kitu kwa roho ndani, si ya mdomo.
Si ya mdomo, wallahi, from my heart to Mama Tom.
Tutakuja hapa 20 years later.
Wallahi.
Jebu wacha tusikie comments. Guys, do you think Fabia is saying the truth? Wewe ukikuwa kwa hii situation, realistically, when in babas ama mamas, na uko na do, na kuna kamtu hapo mwenye ameweza, na si ati what would you do in a situation like that? And we're trying to figure out between an exclusive and an open relationship, which one is more sustainable. So let me read the comments you guys have shared from Facebook. We have Isaac Makanda. Amesema, kushare ndio form. Isaac, hata ujangoza. Santo Dude Ed amesema, kwani ni pochi number? Siwezi share? ? Empire Mrege amesema, I can't share. Isaac Mkanda, kwani hutaki kucomment? Natafuta hiyo comment. Ndio hiyo comment alishasema hapo. Kaylan SK amesema, no, I can't share my partner. Toto Kui amesema, hey, kushare nayo Z. Kila mtu aliletwa na ribi yake, iko hiyo ya kushare sio mimi. And we have Begotten Swan who has said, I can't share or forgive a cheating partner. So, hapo at least tumepata some idea. Kuna wenye nyinyi mnasema open relationship hapana. Kuna wenye mnasema nyinyi maybe mnaweza. And then we want to figure out between an open na exclusive gani ndio inabamba. We have Monzia Malandi amesema open. That's what he thinks works. Irungu J. Jason ako kwa J. Kidhinji Chibi. And ako amesema he's locked in. We have Nitram Kiare amesema Bahati Nakuru City is well tuned in. We have Julius Murego who says open relationship and he's tuned in from Nyeri Town. Kipto Mutiso is locked in. We have Godwin Kipchumba amesema any single lady 25 to 35 to inbox me. If you're God-fearing, hit my inbox for more chats. Godwin amewalk shoot his shot. I love that. Chiloba Rotich amesema open relationship is highly recommended because it solves familiar issues in a good way. Isaac Makanda amesema open relationship is the best. Kila Mambogo niko tuned in. Sister K Braxton amesema for me, I would never be engaged in an open relationship. Heri nibaki single. I got dignity for myself. Then we have Wright Brothers who've said, I have tasted both of them, but I highly recommend you focus on making money. I love that. And then we have Alma Despireta. Amesema he's right. Not all men are the same. Some men are loyal to their partners. Thank you. Denomnesh amesema best channel in Kenya. Thank you so much. And Irungu Jason is locked in. I'm still waiting for more of your comments, guys, because this is a very fascinating conversation. What do you think works? An open relationship ama an exclusive relationship? I think saizi tumepata half and half. Maybe 60% wamesema open. 40% wako like exclusive. But okay, inategemea. Nyi mnaonaje? Because venye nimeona, I've heard a few people talking about open, and then a few people have talked about not being in an open relationship. So let's even say 50-50 basi, just to balance it out. But then, if we're being honest, because we like to talk about things from our perspective, and then tunaweza sema vitu kwa ground. So let me give you a case scenario of a story I came across. A lady and a guy, they decided to engage in like an open relationship. They were married. They're like, let's spice it up. Let's go to a club and find someone else. Then they went to the club. They met a guy because hawakupata dame. Sasa ni mwanamume ndo alikuwa. Ode makosa ikitako like, yeah, me I'm ready. I'm down. See, tuli agree. Then the man, the husband is like, aje sasa bibi yangu. And that's where I want to get into. Because now when we talk about the men, I think the ladies, sometimes you go back and forth, but ladies are more accommodating of open relationships. Lakini wanaume ndio ni ngumu. Wanaume wakifikiria ati nimegongewa, ati mtu anaongelesha mtu wangu, you know, it's never the same. It changes something in the relationship. So hey sis, let's talk about you're building a relationship. You're already with someone who you know where it's going, you know where the future is. Alafu uamue tu one time, let's experiment, let's explore and keep it open. Do you think that's going to spice up? Because I've seen someone who said it solves a lot of familiar issues. Does it solve issues? Will it spice up the relationship? The way kuna watu wanasemanga, unajua we're looking for something different. Does it do any of that? Is it better for the relationship or will it cause harm to both of you?
Okay, first of all, as partners, mkikuja muagree, you have to talk like, you ask yourself, why do you want to have other option? Is it that there are unmet needs? It's just for, you know, kuna watu wanakuanga na fantasy. They want to experiment a lot of things. So, your discussion, like you come through, you really have to talk to your partner and ask each other. Sasa, when we talk about you opening to other options, inamaanisha like maybe kuna mtu mwenye they're not getting what they want and maybe there's a serious partner na juu sidhani venye like two of you juu kuna yule mmoja mwenye takuja seme like can we explore this and this and this. So me sioni like it can solve anything. If you cannot deal with one and solve things with one, what makes you think that 10 others it's going to be easy? In fact, it's going to be very, very hard because now a lot of people you have engaged a lot of people, so it's going to be very hard. The more people you unaleta ndani, the more chaos na the more problem. Yeah, that's what I would really say.
I like that. But then I like that tuna focus on watu wakileta wengi. I think the statement that's coming to my mind is wapishi wengi waribu rojo.
Wanaharibu,
everyone is putting their input, everyone is telling you this, telling you that. So Fabio, is it impossible for a man with multiple wives to be successful?
It is not impossible. It just depends on how you see it. You see like how you see a glass, it's either 3/4 full or half full, or you know, that way, or half empty. You can say a glass is half empty or half full, right? But how you see how your mind works, like whatever you put your mind into perspective, it's what works for you. Like if someone can have like 3 or 4, I'm not advocating for it, but I'm saying if someone can do that and it deems a success, because what works for me doesn't work for you, right? What works for maybe Cheryl might not work for our sister here, right? So if someone can still be successful at the same way, I think that's okay. But keep in mind that an open relationship always creates room for you, distractions, like it paves way. Like you might even find your partner drifting off away from you, and moving on to another person. That's just like a leeway for someone. I'm not that I'm saying it's not good, but if there are unmet needs, let's come to the table, talk.
Yeah.
I feel like if we talk like two grown-up adults, and we can able to figure it out, how can we help each other? If there is something that is not if there is something that needs to go to the hospital, or you know someone needs to go to the hospital for checkup, or or maybe someone who's being delulu, maybe we lower the expectations, right? You see, okay, in as much as someone might have 2 or 3 wives, basing on maybe culture and things like this, don't let that pull you down. Your own perspective matters also. Like, what are you comfortable with? You know, your partner might be comfortable with this, but you, on the other hand, are not comfortable with this because you know how it all ends in a logic perspective.
Yeah.
So you're like, if I'm doing this, then kidogo, kuna tashwishi hapa kidogo, wacha.
Yeah.
Tuone, ukitaka kuwa for the streets, sawa. Nitakuacha, nitakupatia broom and sweep.
Unambeba, unampeleka.
Zio, unampatia tu broom and sweep to streets. Yeah?
I like that perspective. And now I feel like the thing that you're both agreeing on, I think Meisema namna agree, because I'm picking up that when someone asks for an open relationship, they're looking for something in their relationship.
True.
So there is something missing. Ndo wanatafuta kwa watu wengine. So what happens? He says, let's say you're the one who's been approached by your boyfriend and he says something like that. What should be your next step if you do not want that? Or won't katu kitu exclusive? Mtu akuja kuambia, by the way, mimi nataka kutafuta watu wengine. What should be your reaction when you get information like that?
Akuja niambie hivyo. I'll just back off. For me personally, I'll back off because I can't stand such. Yeah, I'll just back off personally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Na hiyo pia it's rooted in self-awareness.
Yeah,
because
self-aware.
unajua you can't stand something like that.
Yeah.
And what about you, Fabio? Let's say unajua. Okay, let me complicate this question a bit. Let's say you have a friend who you know he has multiple women. Juu wewe venye umesema wewe uwezi, but beshte yako ako na dem na unajua dem yake. But kuna madem wakikuja wanaambia, wewe ndio mama, wewe ndio umeshikilia kijana, you know, all those other women and the chochas, because the boys are the ones who chocha. So what happens if you see a friend of yours doing that and basically just toying with someone's emotions, na unajua kona watu wengine? What advice would you give to them? Ama what would you do about a situation like that?
Okay, first of all, I wouldn't do it in public. I'd rather call him out for his mistakes and tell him, bro, come tuongee kidogo. Kuna kitu naona yendi poa. Me, I'd rather all my bros, like we are usually honest with each other. Like that's one of our codes, like as in honesty, transparency, you know. Ni kama safari.
Yeah.
You know, simple, transparent for you, you know. So like I'd call one of my bros and tell them, yo bro, unajua uko na huyu mtu na unaendelea kucheza huku. Nitamkumbusha ya kwamba mtu amekufanyia nini, umefanya na nini ndio ufike hapo. Unaona pia unakacheza vibaya, si ndio? So unafaa kufanya nini? Hata star like as in nitawacha solution ikuje kutoka kwake. I'll mediate the situation, but not between the two parties. Yeah. I'll call him out. Tell him, bro, unafanya vibaya hapa. Mamazo wako ako invested na, ako obsessed na wewe, ako na wewe, amekaa na wewe kutoka hiyo time yote, sindio? So nitakam nimwambie, hapa ufanye poa, rekebisha ama ikitu itaenda poa. But trying to involve also, I won't even try to act as a third party to the relationship, like as in indulge myself. If the guy refuses, I go to the lady, no, I won't do that. That's them. But me, I have an obligation to talk to my brother. I can talk to my brother and tell him, bro, hapa ufanye poa. Go correct this and this. If you can, correct. If you want something I can help you with, we can talk this out, right? We can even discover how we can not play it safe, but correct our parts. Like sometimes our human nature is sinful sometimes, most of the time, right?
Yeah.
But if we can be able to achieve a consortium or one agreement that where we can say that if we can be able to correct our mistakes, like I know I have seen a beautiful lady, but that's lust. If you're able to classify love and lust, I think that's where it draws the difference. Because like after lust, then what's next? Another lust, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm able to tell my brother this and he's able to listen to me and correct his ways, I think that's a better attitude. But if he's not, I have done my part. I have washed my hands clean and I have done the most I can do. The most I can do is pray for him.
Unamwacha kwa mikono ya God.
No, the most you can do is tell him and pray for him, right? Haven't I done my part?
Because you can never change.
You can never change someone.
never
Like
change,
as in,
Yeah.
you can never change a leopard of
But
his stripes.
I like the fact that you hold them accountable, because I
Yeah.
think it's important for friends to hold each other accountable. Because I've even had girls talking about Charlie beshi yangu kuja kuniuza vitu mimi hata mimi sijui. Nilimwona mimi sijui, sikuona, mimi sikukua hata hapo. And we cover up for our friends, which inaweza kwa in the moment we'll feel like it's good, we're being loyal, but long term it's detrimental to their character and even just the mental health. And even the people that you're doing that to, it's not really fair. You have to hold your friends accountable. You know, that's one thing that I always feel like is, it's constant. We need to do that. But as we're having this conversation, there's also people who'll say, but may I love two people at the same time? You know, so do you think, Jesus, do you think it's possible for you to love two people at the same time? Like genuinely, you love two people at the same time?
Okay, I'd say for a woman it's very hard because the way we are built, it's in us that you can only concentrate on one person at a time. Like for men, because it's not emotional, you're not emotionally attached to this person. Most of the time, men think logic. This lady, ako like, who is she to me? Ama ananimake nikwe like what kind of a person, unaona? So I'd say like for men they can, and not even two, very many, very many. It's not like it's not emotional for them. It's not like us women, like mimi kama nimependa huyu ni huyu, sasa maybe ishe ndio sasa niende kwa next. Like, but for men, I think for men, unless you have very high discipline.
Fabio anakuangalia nataka kujitetea tebu tu.
Unless you have very high discipline.
Yeah.
Na then again venye tumesema like for Christian, you know, so uko like I have to have this one woman, you know. Na si ati hezi taka, anaweza taka, but kuna venye sasa yeye ameamua discipline, and that it's I'm going for one and one. Hata wakuja wanakaa, hata type yangu ikuje, mimi siko na type yangu ndio anakuja. No, I'm going to choose this one forever and ever.
Yeah.
But
here, I think that's a challenge.
The small percentage. Wengi wako huku.
It's reminded me of, there's a phrase, there was a popular story I think this week or last week, of this self-love coach who she got cheated on when she was 4 months pregnant. And then the one thing that she said was men want to control the world, but they can't control their lust. And it was so crazy because the entire story was just diabolical. Ukisikia tu story, uko like, nini, because this man actively proposed to her, married her, got her pregnant, and then cheated.
That is meant for you.
Yeah, and then you wonder,
not all men.
Okay, most men. Yeah. And the truth is, it's also rooted in lack of self-awareness, lack of discipline, lack of knowing. Because if we're being realistic, from what I've been assessing, most men do not have the right guidance, because for the past, let's say 20 or so years, it's been empowering the girl child. So the boy child has been neglected a bit. So the kind of people they listen to may be the toxic guys. When you wanawambia, cheat on women, you don't do this, don't do that. You know, the mindset is, kunaka shift ili happen. And I think it's because of the neglect of mentorship of the young men. And then because of the media, the music, everything, it's just sexualized. Mademo amekuwa sexualized. Yeah. You know, wewe tu ni object. Hata uko na akili unabo. Cause unaongea nini, like, you know. You know. So that's the reality of some guys. But then there are so many high value men who still know to be disciplined. They're self-aware. They know what they're building. So Fabio, tebu tuongeleshe vijana. Like, let's talk to people who, either men and women, let me not even categorize, because sababu najua siku hizi hata mademo wamekuwa worse than wanaume, tusidanganyane, because niliona statistics ati wanaume wanasikiza heartbreak songs nikashtuka. So let's talk to the people, because you know most of the guys who are watching, you're starting a relationship, you're young in love, uko bado hopeful, na una follow trends za social media. Let's talk about that, because social media influences us a lot. The digital space itatu influence. Leo tuone sijui nani ako na nani, kesho ako na huyu mwingine, kesho kutwa. Talk to us. Talk to the people who are watching. Because wewe umesound ni kama wewe unataka exclusive relationship kubuild na familia yako. Umesema hata Mama Tom hauta cheat on her. Tebu to advise. Tufanye nini? Sasa
No, sisa.
akiwa na kakoti pale kamakis ndo tutajua.
Let me say this. Which camera do I face? That one.
Yeah.
Okay, so for everyone watching, I feel like if you're able to stay true to yourself and know what you're going for, then I don't believe you need to randa. If you can be able to have some self-discipline and also be able to feed your mind with positive things that build your mind. How many times in a day do you like listen to things that build your mind? Motivation. Okay, apart from motivation, maybe motivation has been criticized and downsized, and you know, what do you feed your mind? The mind is your enemy. If you get to realize that, then you might hack life very well, because what you feed your mind is what you out. Garbage in, garbage out. You remember comps, garbage in, garbage out. Giggle, nini. So like that. So if you feed your mind with garbage, then your output is garbage.
Yeah.
So if you feed your mind with positive things, you give out positivity, you give positive vibes.
Yeah.
And I'd say this, but for all those who are in relationships, stay true to that one partner. Anaweza kuwa hajui kuongea kizungu vizuri and things like those, maybe akona some few turn-offs here and there, but there are some things we can work on, right? Kama mtu, like let's say, like kizungu, siku hizi watu waenda Gumbaru, wanasomeshwa, na polish English kidogo, unasikia kolana kidogo, hata mkienda pahali unasikia
Unajenga tu mtu wako.
Unajenga mtu wako. Like, huo mtu wako ni kama reflection ya wewe.
Yeah.
So, kuna blessings you come na kutreat mtu wako poa. Let's say, like, as in, ushaona mtu, like, there's a story of a pastor who used to tell us that his blessings used to come from his wife. The more he treated his wife better, or his partner better, the more he got blessed, and he never realized it until he discovered it. The more you treat that person nicely, that person is someone else's child. Think of it as your own child. Like, see ni baby girl. Simesema ni baby girl. Yeah. So, like, if we treat these people nicely, I think they'll be nice to us. But even if the person is not nice, don't revenge. Don't revenge. Achana, let it be. Kama utasikiza Rose Muhando, msikize.
But I really love that, because I think kenye unasema pia ni self-awareness. And that's also something the elders used to say in the past. If you want to be wealthy, go find a wife. Traditionally kwa Africa walikuwa naambia kijana, enda utafute bibi ndio atakufunza ku multiply what you have. So there's a benefit of having one partner, and then it's also selective. So what I mean is some comments zenyu, because I really want to know what you guys are talking about. So I was asking, between open relationships and exclusive relationships, which one is better? Kaylan SK from Facebook amesema open relationship is better. David De Walker amesema he is listening. We have Hussein Ali O amesema open relationships okay for the younglings as you try to find your soulmate, and then when you get older exclusivity matters. That's his take. And then ni Pablo amesema bora sigongewi. Mimi nikiwa mbaba siwezi kataa klande. Pablo. Dan Austin amesema better to be in an open relationship than in an exclusive relationship. So that's very fascinating. I'm so interested to know why you guys, because I think most guys are leaning towards the open relationships. Nini imefanyika? Well, guys, you have to come back to Power Talk, because we're going to talk about how we've gotten here and what do we think the future looks like for relationships and for Africa. Because each generation sijui tutaendaje, but it's been a very interesting conversation. My takeaway personally from this is you need to be self-aware. Na relationship yako, it's about wewe na mtu wako. Sit down, have a conversation, be honest, and then figure out what you guys want. That is my takeaway from tonight. I hope you've loved our guests. We're going to have them again. We're also going to have another interesting conversation next week, so stay tuned, because this month, by the way, it's the Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're all about you guys. We're trying to do things that will elevate us, all of us. So stay tuned. Come back every single Thursday between 7 and 8. We are live, and we have a repeat tomorrow between 1 and 2 p.m. You can go on YouTube to find any episode from the past, present, love and lust ziko hapo, relationships ziko hapo, kila kitu iko hapo. So I'll see you guys next week. Have a lovely weekend, and that's it for us for tonight.
Y254. Imagine.